Today we're checking out the new Galaxy A57 5G. It does have a few upgrades over the previous A56. Pricing is going to be pretty similar depending on where you're located, around $500, but I'll leave a link down below with current pricing and more information. You do have 4 different color options, although I feel like we usually don't get very many in the United States for some reason. The one shown here is called Awesome IcyBlue. You can see it's just a little bit different style for the cameras. I think they're trying to match the S26 series a little more. It's actually not that much different than the previous A56. You can see it's a pretty similar style to the previous A56. I have a feeling though, because the cameras are just slightly different, you're probably not going to be able to use the same cases, but we should know here soon, as I'll probably do a best case video on the A57. It's going to be pretty similar setup as most other Samsung phones. Of course, you have the fingerprint scanner, PIN, password, or pattern. Of course, it has Gemini as the assistant. You can see there's a handful of Samsung apps pre-installed. It also comes with Android 16 with One UI 8.5, and it's going to get 6 years of software updates and security updates as well. It's got a 6.7-inch Full HD Plus Super AMOLED display at up to 120 Hz refresh rate, and it's a little brighter now at up to 1900 nits peak brightness. It's got Gorilla Glass Victus Plus on the front and back. It doesn't have Wi-Fi 7, but it does have Wi-Fi 6E, so not bad. I think the bezels might actually be just a hair smaller on the A57. You can really notice it in the corners and maybe just a little bit on the bottom as well. It's just a hair slimmer at 6.9 millimeters versus 7.4 for the A56. It's also a little bit lighter now, weighs about 179 grams. It also went from IP67 to IP68. I think the screen quality on here actually looks pretty nice. Probably much better than what most people would expect considering the price. But if you've used other Samsung phones, you know they have pretty good screen quality. Of course, this is Widevine L1 for streaming apps like Netflix. It can also go up to 4K resolution for YouTube videos as well. It still has that little dip here on the side. I assume they keep that, so it's a little bit different style than the more expensive Samsung phones. It might make it a little easier to hold right there. I think it might actually help finding the power button as well. I think the fingerprint scanner works fine on here. I'm not quite sure why they put it lower on this phone versus the S26 series. I think they need to move it up a little bit higher. That way it's not so awkward. You can see it's much more simplified. As far as the default wallpapers, there's not really much to them compared to the S26 series. You've got Google Discover or Samsung News left of the home screen. You can see the updated style. Of course, the Edge panel is on there. Still pretty similar as before, just a little bit different style. Of course, your notifications and quick settings are separate, but you can put those back together in the settings if you want to. I also like that you can just add buttons here at the end instead of the section up above. You can really see the software on here is almost identical to the S26 series. It's got pretty much what you would expect as far as pre-installed apps, your typical ones from Samsung, Google, and I noticed they don't have Microsoft apps on here anymore. I wonder if people just weren't using them. Of course, you have motion smoothness. We can change it from 120 Hz adaptive to the standard 60 Hz if you want to. It also has the new Exynos 1680 processor. It also has a larger vapor chamber cooling system as well, so you shouldn't have to worry about it overheating. It also has 8 GB of RAM and starts with 128 GB of storage. You can see it's a slight upgrade over the A56 by looking at the benchmark results. It's pretty similar in single core score, but then a nice improvement for multi-core score, and then pretty similar for GPU performance. So of course, it's gonna have plenty of performance for most games in the Play Store. I know when playing PUBG Mobile and Asphalt Legends Unite on the highest settings available, it actually played fairly smooth. It didn't seem to overheat or anything like that, which is always good to see. Now, for some reason, you can see how the water is sort of pixelated, so maybe it's best not to use the highest settings unless it just needs an update. It's got a 5000 milliamp hour battery and up to 45 watt fast charging. Interesting thing is, I ran my typical battery drain test at 100% screen brightness, and it only lasted about 12 hours, which is quite a bit less than the previous Galaxy A56. Obviously, there's lots of variables when it comes to battery life, but considering the brighter screen, that may be part of it. But just keep in mind, once you're using this phone every day for a week or two, it sort of learns your habits and adjusts accordingly. So while it doesn't seem as good as the previous A56 in my testing, I have a feeling most people aren't going to notice as much in everyday use. Now the speakers on here aren't going to be the best out there, but still not bad, probably loud enough for most things. I feel like most people are going to be using Bluetooth headphones, but here's a quick sample just to give you an idea of what it sounds like. As far as cameras on the back, it's got a 50 megapixel main lens, 12 megapixel ultra wide, and a 5 megapixel macro lens. Then it has a new 12 megapixel camera on the front. Now in the camera app, it looks like there's a lot of different filters you can use under Fun. Then you've got Portrait, Photo, Video. Under More, you've got Pro Video, Night, Food, Panorama, Macro, Slow Motion, and Hyperlapse. You can also shoot up to 4K resolution, 30 frames per second for video recording. Seems to be pretty fast shutter speed. And okay, seems like decent photo quality. Here's a few samples of photo and video, just to give you an idea of what to expect on the new A57 5G. I think overall this phone is a slight upgrade over the previous version. So if you already have the A56, I'm not sure if it makes sense to upgrade from that one. But if you have the A55, maybe the A54 or older, I think that's going to make more sense to upgrade from some of the older A series phones from Samsung, especially now that you have the longer software updates. If you like phones, tablets, and other tech, I've got a lot more stuff that I'm working on as usual, so you'll want to keep an eye out for those upcoming videos. So if you've made it this far into the video, you may want to say thanks by subscribing, and don't forget to give a thumbs up if this video was helpful. This is Brian from Fishbee Productions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.